welcome back to my channel. So yesterday, Lindsey announced on her Instagram that she was celebrating 1 year of sobriety. So congrats. I have to give credit where credit is due. She posted this picture with Miley Grace and she looks so healthy compared to where she was a year ago. It's crazy how much someone's looks can do a 180 when they quit doing drugs. So congrats to her on that. But let's talk about Daonte and Lindsey and Blaine in this last episode. So Daonte went to go head to Blaine's to meet Lindsey for the first time since getting out of prison. And Blaine, he's like interrogating Lindsey, asking her 101 questions like he's her damn dad or something, asking her what her and Daonte are going to do, where are they going to go. And then he even asked her if they planned on having sex, which I'm not sure why that's any of his business. So Lindsey and Daonte, they plan to go to this Airbnb and spend time together because Lindsey's been kicked out of most hotels from slinging dope in them. And so then the past 2 days, Lindsey's been all wrapped up, worried about getting this TC dude out of jail. And now suddenly that's the last thing on her mind. Like Blaine had to even bring it up and remind her. And Lindsey couldn't get a hold of her friend Jerry, who was originally willing to bond TC out. So Blaine suggested, why don't you ask Daonte? And Lindsey was like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, what a great way to scare Daonte off on his first day meeting you in person. Like, hey, baby, let's go bond my old drug buddy out of jail. I'm sure that's exactly how Daonte envisions their first day together with Lindsey. But he better get used to it because this is the chaotic life that Lindsey apparently enjoys. So Blaine said this will be the perfect opportunity as well for Daonte to really prove his love to Lindsey. Because you know it's not true love unless they're willing to bond your drug buddy out the first day they meet you in person. Like, come on. I don't know. What would you guys do if you were in Daonte's position and you've been dating this girl for months, you finally get to meet her, and she hits you with that? That's just a mess I don't want to get involved with. Like, I love my fiance to death, but I wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. But it'd be really messed up if, Lindsey, if they're about to, like, get intimate or something, and then Lindsey tries to bring it up, and then if he says no, she tries to use that as leverage and hold that over his head. Like, okay, then you ain't getting none then. Or she might wait until after they, do the damn thing, and then she might wait till he's on cloud 9 feeling good and then try to get him to do that. I don't know. So then Daonte, he finally pulls up, and Lindsey runs out in his arms, and they have their little notebook moment, and Lindsey was actually shocked that Daonte is almost the same height as her. So Daonte, he cut right to the chase. He's like, whose house is this? And Lindsey took him inside and introduced him to Blaine. And this was Daonte's first time meeting Blaine. He doesn't even really know anything about this dude. He literally just found out about him the day before when Lindsey was informing Daonte that he picked her up from jail. So Lindsey takes Daonte inside Blaine's house. She's like, let's get this over with. And then as soon as Daonte sits down on the couch, she jumps all awkwardly on his lap and she's all over him. You can tell she's trying to butter him up before she hits him with the, baby, can you bond my friend out of jail? And you could feel the tension in the room. You could cut it with a knife because you could tell that Blaine was not feeling Daonte and Lindsey all over each other. You can tell he has a thing for Lindsey. Like, I think he's in love with Lindsey's craziness because he must have a kink for it or something, because that's all he was talking about to Daonte. So Lindsey explained that Blaine used to sell drugs for her. He's literally her partner in crime. And Blaine seemed like he was trying to scare Daonte off. Like have Daonte having second thoughts, thinking, am I really equipped for all this? Because he was telling Daonte all the things you think to freak Daonte out. Like Lindsey has no problem inflicting bodily harm against someone. And then when Blaine asked Daonte about his plans and intentions with Lindsey, Daonte said he was hoping that Lindsey would eventually move up to Virginia to be with him because it's a lot for him to just uproot and leave and move down to Mississippi. But Blaine was like, well, hopefully you love her enough to let her stay down here with her daughter Miley Grace. And Daonte said that Miley Grace is more important than him. So it sounds like at this point that Daonte and Lindsey really have no idea what they're going to do together in the future if they stay together with their whole living situation. I remember Daonte a while back, he was saying that Lindsey was going to move to Virginia with him as soon as she got out of prison, but it's like neither one of them are willing to make the sacrifices to move to be with the other person. Daonte doesn't want to leave behind his 2 jobs and his family, and Lindsey doesn't want to leave behind Miley Grace and her family, and I'm pretty sure she's obligated to stay in Mississippi for a while because she is currently on parole. So Daonte was also taken aback because he wanted to get a whole tour of this Airbnb. I mean Blaine's house, because word on the street is Blaine's house is an Airbnb. But so he wanted a tour of the house to kind of get a vibe of the house and how close him and Lindsey really were. And he was taken aback because Lindsey and Blaine, their rooms are literally right across the hall from each other, and they share a bathroom, and he wasn't feeling too comfortable with all that and feeling that. And now he's starting to feel like he may have possibly made a huge mistake because of Blaine and Lindsey's weird relationship. And then Blaine just asking weird questions too that just seemed like way too personal. And just kind of crossing boundaries, like questions you want to just ask somebody as a guy friend. And I don't know, it was just giving me a weird vibe the way he just seemed way too invested in all this. And so also, I'm also curious because Lindsey keeps saying the reason she went back to jail is for carving Scott's desk up, but I want to hear her talk about the whole stolen car situation because it came out when she went back to prison. She went to a car place and she wanted to test drive a car, and so she went to test drive this car, and instead of bringing it right back, she was gone for hours, and they ended up calling the police and finding her, and then they arrested her. And I'm pretty sure that's what sent her back to prison on top of the charges that Scott did to her. And I haven't heard her talk about those charges at all, so I don't know if they're still pending, if they're dropped, or what exactly happened with all that. Like, we do know that she had warrants out for her arrest and that she did admit that she had other charges pending. So I'm curious if that's one of the charges she has pending and that's why she's not speaking on it, so she doesn't incriminate herself anymore. But I'm super curious about that. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.